Facebook Live series. I've got Riley with me today, and we've got our sewing set up. It's a little bit different today because I kind of have some assembly line sewing going on. And Nikki, just let me know if you can pop on over to Facebook and make sure that our audio is set up and everyone can hear what we're saying. That would be fantastic, just to kind of troubleshoot, because we had a little bit of some issues last week, and I want to make sure that everybody can hear me today because what we're talking about is super important. So I just want to start by saying that we at Sulky hope that you all are faring just fine and, you know, doing your best to combat this pandemic and work with, you know, all the local authorities and everything that you need to do to stay safe. We care about you. We want you to keep sewing and keep doing what you love and keep being there for your family. So, hi, everybody. Good to see you. Hey, Deb. All right. Oh, good. You can hear. Thanks for letting me know. All right.
Hello.
Okay. I'm so glad you guys can hear me. Okay. So by now, I'm sure that you have seen all of the posts about making your own face masks and how the sewing community is really rallying to help the hospitals in need. So I wanted to do a demo today to show you just how easy these these face masks are to make. Yes, Riley. And we're going to be putting together one really simply and easily today. Hold on a second, though, because my children are talking so loudly in the other room that it's hard for me to concentrate. Hey, guys. We're live on camera. Okay, thank you so much. Is anyone else having trouble making sure that their children are not fighting while they are sequestered at home? Just me? Okay. So by now, I'm sure that you have probably seen all of the posts that have mask patterns and ways that you can help and how to make these masks and what fabrics and stuff to use. It's very important, if you are making these masks, to make sure that you're adhering to the guidelines. If you have a specific place where you want to donate your masks, try to give them a call. It's of course not emergent, but if you do get somebody on the line, make sure that you let them know that you want to make these masks and get the specifications that you need for that particular facility, okay? They might require it to be a certain mask pattern. They might require it to be a certain fabric. They might require it to be more breathable, things like this. And we want to make sure that these masks are being used. So the mask pattern that I'm going to be showing you today was the one that came out in the Courier Press earlier this week, or I guess this weekend. And it's a very loose mask. It has elastic that goes around your ears. We'll be talking about some kind of material substitutes that you can make if you have run out of elastic or if elastic is hard for you to find. Also, Joann Fabrics has put something out that they are going to be helping people who want to make these masks. So if you are able to get to your Joann's Fabrics, or you can respond to their effort, you can get some materials that you need for that, to my understanding. So make sure you kind of seek that out. You know, Google the Joann Face Mask Initiative to get some help to do these your own self. I went into my stash and I was able to find a couple of different widths of elastic. I have 1/8, I have 1/4, I have some fold over elastic. So I've done some experimenting to see if these things will work better. All right, I just heard from Derek Paul, who was going to join us live today on the feed, but he wasn't able to get the video working on his end. And why I wanted Derek to join us today is Derek works for our furry friends, okay? He is a vet. He works in an animal hospital. And Derek, maybe you can respond with, you know, your title and everything that you do for our pets in need. And, you know, I was watching Derek's kind of posts on social media talking about how animal hospitals are also in need of these masks. It's not just hospitals that take care of humans. The mask shortage is all over the place. And if you have a local vet, or if your vet is in need of masks, give them a call. It might even be an easier place for you to donate, or they might be more willing to use these masks that can be reused and go over the top of the more protective masks to help them last longer. So that's where my masks are going that I'm making. I'm going to send them to Derek so that he can have them in his animal ER, and hopefully they will go to good use. They are, washable. They can be sanitized. They can be bleached. They can, we can just do whatever we can to help everyone in need right now. Hey guys. Shh. Thank you. Okay. All right. So vet hospitals, veterinarians, that is another place that you can donate. And if you want some more suggestions for how to contact these people, or if you want to join in my effort to make sure that Derek gets lots and lots of masks at his facility that we know is in need, you can shoot us a message at info@sulky.com, and we will organize an effort for you to send in masks that way. But I really encourage you to seek out your local businesses in need, local organizations, because for sure they need your help. Okay, so sewers, we're banding together. We're going to dive into our stashes for an adult size mask. And I do want to mention, we posted a blog this morning on the Sulky blog. We'll put a link in the comments here, with a couple different mask patterns. And before I get started sewing this super basic one, there have been some other similar posts that went out. One of them is called Sew the Curve Flat. SewTheCurveFlat.com is a resource that has been put together that they've consulted with some nurses, some ER nurses, who have talked about the specific mask types that they need and some specific things they need for their masks. The mask pattern that I'm going to be talking about today is on this site, as are a couple of different ones. So you can seek this out for some other resources. Also, our very own Nancy Sapin, who's one of our Sulky educators, she has made a mask, the one that we're going to do today. She used Sulky Cutaway Plus to make this mask. It's pleated in just the same fashion that we're going to do with fabric today. It has the elastic, and she also made a little casing at the top where she put in a little, like one of those twist ties, so that you can put the twist tie up against your nose for a little bit more secure hold to your face. And the Cutaway Plus is perfect for a more disposable mask. If you happen to have bolts of Cutaway Plus for your machine embroidery projects, you can try using the Cutaway Plus as a mask. So that's a great resource. And we thank Nancy for doing some experimenting with us, because on the blog that I posted this morning, we talked about the fabric. And a lot of people have been asking, can I use just stabilizer? Is it breathable? Things like that. So great. Derek has chimed in, everybody. He is the medical director for the emergency department at a veterinary emergency specialty hospital south of Denver. All right. You all can read his comment here on the Facebook Live. He says he's planning to donate most of their current stock of surgical masks to the human side to help in the human hospitals with actual exposure to the COVID-19 patients. So they have limited their contact with humans. They're just seeing animals at this point. As we know, the animals are not transmitting this disease. So I've been told, so I've heard. They, use the cloth masks when they're in contact with owners. So, these will help them last longer. You can put your questions in the comments if you have any for Derek. If anything comes up and you want to donate to animal hospitals and you have questions, I'm sure he would be happy to respond to this thread while we are doing our demo today. So let me just see if there's any other questions that have come on. All right, before we get started. I also did find another pattern today too. I'll show it in the stream. I just took a screenshot of the pattern. You can see on here where it is available. The screen is extremely small and far away from me, so I actually cannot read it right now. But maybe Nikki can put that in the comments too. It's just another resource of a mask pattern that was created with the help of a ER nurse. So that is another free resource available to you if you want to make sort of a more specialized mask than the ones that we're making today. So that is what I have to share with you before we get sewing. Thank you, Riley. I've got Riley right here is holding our lengths of elastic. We've already cut them to 7 inches. I made a couple of masks. This is the first one that I made. And I used the 7-inch elastic on the sides. And I actually thought it was a little bit loose. But I do know people have different size faces, of course, and this needs to fit over a larger mask. So that 7-inch elastic is going to allow for a lot more stretch, obviously. So 7 inches, I'm assuming is standard. I also made one with just 6 inches of elastic. I was trying to make it go a little farther. And that one fits my face, my husband's face. And I do want to mention on that Sew the Curve Flat resource, they do talk about washing your fabric, sanitizing your hands before and after you make the masks, ways that you can, on your end, make sure that these are safe for people's uses. So yes, I tried it on myself. Yes, I tried it on my husband. Yes, I will be washing it and putting it in a plastic bag before it is donated. And Derek, correct me if I'm wrong, but I am very positive that you all are going to sanitize them and wash them before they are used again, just to add some more safety precautions.
Yes.
Yes. All right. So we've got our elastic cut. You want 2 lengths of 7-inch elastic. This is 8-inch braided elastic because it's what I had in my stash. Like I said, I also have some 1/4 inch and I'm going to try out some fold over elastic as well. Okay. Then for your fabric, your front side of the mask, you can just pick a kind of tightly woven quilting cotton is what I've been seeing. And that's what I've been using for these masks. So that's what I have here. I also have flannel fabric for the lining. That's going to be what is closest to your face. And quite honestly, I did not do the research as to why we are using flannel fabric. I'm assuming it has to do with breathability and comfort, and maybe it filters out more bacteria than a traditional quilting cotton does, but I'm not entirely positive.
Mommy?
All right, are you ready for the demo?
Yeah, but hold on. Do you have to use the same length one for both?
Yes, you want to use the same length of elastic for both sides. Yes. All right, so these rectangles are cut to 9 inches by 6 inches. All right, and I'm going to use about a 1/4 inch seam allowance for mine. Okay, just hold on to those because we're going to sew a little bit. If I can get the dog off the presser foot of the machine, we'll get sewing here. And I'm just going to move the camera a little bit so you can see while I'm sewing. So bear with the extreme close-up here. Whoops. Okay. Okay, Riley, just hold on to them, please. All right, so I'm going to start sewing along the lower edge of my rectangles. And I'm going to leave an opening of about 2 inches so that I can turn this right side out. So I'm going to start here. I'm going to go to the corner. I'm going to insert my elastic. I'm going to go down the other edge. I'm going to stop, pivot, insert my other end of the elastic, and then keep sewing around, making sure that I have this opening for turning it right side out. And a good little tip, if you're making a bag or something else that needs an opening, just so that you don't forget to leave that open area, because 8 times out of 10, we're going to sew it shut, right? And then have to use our seam ripper. So you could just place some pins along the opening, going in a different direction from the pins that you're using to pin your fabric together. And that just triggers your mind as you get to them to stop sewing and leave your opening. Thank you, honey. Hold on. Okay, let's put the pin down. So we're going to start at this pin. I'm just using a scant 1/4 inch seam allowance. I'm going to leave my needle in the fabric and pivot. And then hopefully I can show you this. I'll pull it out of the machine and show you. So you're going to take your end of elastic and stick it in the corner so that it's kind of at a U shape, like this. And your ends are going to be at each corner. Hopefully you can see that. Hold on, I'm not ready for that one yet.
There's 2.
And if you want, you can pin this in place before you even get started. But as I'm doing these, I'm just inserting it as I get to that part, and I'm going to back stitch over the end of the elastic to secure it further. And it looks like you can't see this very well, but I'm at the other end of my short seam, and I'm just putting my other elastic end in the seam.
Mommy, but
So,
why are you putting the elastic in there?
I will show you. So I don't think my sewing machine angle is doing it justice here, but if I open this up so that you could see the right side, you'll see that my little elastic loop, this end is sewn in here, this end is sewn in at this corner. So pretty sides together, the elastic, as you can see, sandwiched in between.
Ooh,
And we've got it.
Yummy.
I've got it, the ends sewn in. You can see there. The ends are sewn into the seam. Okay, so you'll just continue around. I'll do my top seam now. And then when you get to your other corner, you'll insert that other elastic end. So I'm leaving my needle in the fabric. Can I have the other elastic, please? Take my elastic end and put it between those layers of fabric. And you want to make sure that your elastic isn't twisted. Now, if it is, honestly, it doesn't really matter all that much. It's still going to be useful. Back stitch along the end. I'm going to curve my elastic piece. See how I'm doing that? It's so great to have cheerleaders, right?
I'm not a cheerleader.
You're cheering me on, though.
Nuh-uh.
Sure you are. All right, I'm going to pivot, and I'm on my lower edge seam now, so I just need to remember to leave that opening. And I'm just back stitching along my opening. All right. Ta-da! All right, so now,
There's one.
maybe it's easier to see on the black. Now we've got our perimeter sewn.
Yes.
Here's our opening along the lower edge. All right. And we're going to turn it right side out. And then you, Riley, Miss Riley, you can help me poke out the corners. Okay.
Okay, now what?
So if you want to take, when I'm poking out corners of anything, I love to use a blunt chopstick. because it doesn't poke through your seam and it allows you to really get in there. If you have a point turner, you can use that too.
No,
but do you see this? We're going to gently poke out the corners.
Okay.
So that they're nice and flat. You see?
Yeah.
Can you? That's okay. Can you do this side?
Yeah.
Okay. So, not sure if y'all can see this. I'll try to move the camera up. So get the end in there and you just kind of move it around and you feel the, there you go.
Okay, now let's do
Do that one on your own. Okay. Very good. Okay. So at this point, if you want to, you can give it a little bit of a press. Also, if you tug on your elastic ends, it brings the corners out really good as well. So now you can see we've got our opening here. I'm going to tuck that thread in. I used Sulky 50 weight cotton and steel thread for this. I tuck in my opening so that it's flush. Everything is folded into the wrong side, right? You could put a little pin in there to keep it going.
I'm taller than you.
Okay. So now I've got my pin holding that closed. Now what we need to do, you see how this is just a flat piece of fabric? We're going to create the tucks in it. I'll show you Nancy's again here so you can see. See how she's got 3 tucks in the mask. So you can make them equidistant, and if you want to get really persnickety about it, you can measure them out and do 3 equidistant tucks, or you can really just eyeball it. I measured my first one, and I was very precise, and then the other two that I did, I just eyeballed it, and they came out perfect, and they fit the face. So what we're going to do is, okay, thank you.
Pumpkin pin.
Here's how you create the tuck. I'm going to try to do it backwards. So you basically are going to fold this in accordion style, and then you've created a little tuck. Can you see that? So once you've created that first tuck, you'll pin it and create the next tuck. Thank you.
Another pin.
All right. So we have our first tuck in there.
Try not to poke yourself, Mommy.
Try not to poke yourself. I know I already have a Band-Aid on my hand from some other sewing I was doing, right?
Yes. Make sure don't poke yourself.
Don't poke yourself. All right.
With the sharpest pins in the whole wide world.
So our first tuck is in. Then we're going to make our next tuck. I love you too.
Who's that?
That is Nikki helping us out. Say, hey, Nikki.
Hi, Nikki.
Nikki is behind the scenes today because
She's there.
we are all working from home and doing our
Hello.
best to
Why does she
stay
have
inside.
headphones on?
Because she's listening to us.
Oh.
Wish I had headphones on at some times in my life, must say. All right, we've got 2 tucks in. Now we're going to do the last. So we're going to fold this accordion style. And my tucks are super uneven.
Ta-da.
Ta-da! And then we're going to
Ta-da.
do our last pins. And then we're going to sew those tucks in place. Do you love that pin?
No, circle it.
Oh, you circled it. What is the pin? Can you tell everybody what the pin is?
It's a pumpkin sewing pin.
A pumpkin. It's a tomato.
Well, what's the pumpkin pin?
It's a
That's
tomato pin cushion.
No, Mommy, look. It has
It does have lines.
which means it's a pumpkin
Okay.
with a chili pepper with points.
It's either a pumpkin with a chili pepper or it's a tomato with a strawberry.
No, a tomato.
decide.
Tomato.
All right. So I've got my tucks in, my uneven tucks. Now what we're going to do to secure Riley, honey, everyone needs to see what we're doing.
I know that.
Okay. Thank you, Jason. Jason has commented that this is a great lesson for how to work when your children are out of school. See how much work I get done? Lots of work. My kids are on spring break, so they are not doing schoolwork. So it's extra special times right now. Okay, so now we are going to top stitch the entire mask, and that's going to close our opening with our stitches and secure our tucks at the same time. So top stitching really just means you are sewing very close to the edge. Edge stitching, top stitching, kind of the same thing. Let's see. I'm going to get started sewing. I will try and see if you can see what I'm doing as this comes out of the machine. Ready, Riley?
Yeah, but first I have to sit like that way. You're not doing it.
I'm going to sink my needle in when I am removing my pins. Not sure if you guys can see that.
There we go. These are the same length.
Good job. Now, when you pivot to do, oh, you can kind of see over here.
I'm still in the same one.
Yeah, shh. When you pivot to secure your tucks, just make sure that you hold them down and just go slowly over the tucks, removing the pins as you sew, raising and lowering the presser foot as needed to not cause any other kind of folds in the fabric as you go. And keep your tuck folds just even with each other along that end. And at this point is where you would make modifications if you were running out of elastic. And I will show you that when I pull this out when we're all finished with it. It's okay, I have more that we haven't cut yet. But that's why I'm going to talk about what to do if you run out of elastic. Honey, that's what I'm going to talk about, is if you run out of elastic, how you can still make more. Because right now, people aren't wanting to go to the store, are they? And some stores aren't open that carry elastic, right? So we're going to talk about what to do if that is the case. Okay, so I have top stitched around this one time. And I'm just going to do, hey there. Okay, I have top stitched around it one time, and I'm going to quickly do another round of top stitching because that's what's recommended by the pattern. And I'm going to go super fast, right, Riley? I know. Thank you so much. How many tucks did we put in it, Riley? Do you remember?
4.
No, we did 3 tucks. 3.
Need 1, 2.
You forgot already.
4.
The tucks are the little pleats that we made.
We did 3.
We did 3.
Well, 3 over here, which makes 6.
Okay. Whoa. Emma, you almost lost everything.
Don't do that.
So sorry, everyone. Okay.
Come on there.
We've got one kid playing with the dog and the other
Helping you film.
helping with the sewing.
And the other
right.
on the iPad.
Let's show everybody. Okay, now we've kind of lost the definition of our tucks, and that's totally fine. If you want, and I have set up my iron, once you have sewn your tucks, give it a little bit of a press to just like set those tucks.
Okay.
Sorry, this is really awkward right now for our setup.
And squishy.
I know, and just stay right with me so you don't get burned by the iron. I'm just pressing to set those tucks so that they will fold easier along that line in the future when it's being used. Hold on, Riley. I love you too. All right. So, sorry, I'll show you in a minute. Okay, we've got it all pressed. Let's show. Okay, now our tucks are,
Yes.
oopsies.
Mommy, but can I go get the other elastics?
Yes,
Where are they?
they're right over there, honey. All right, now we've got our tucks nicely pressed. But again, this is going to get washed and washed and washed. And if those tucks come out, it's totally fine. Those tucks just give it room to wrap around your face properly. And so you can see just how easy it is to sew this and how you can sew this with just some scraps that you have on hand. Okay. Thank you, Riley. Okay, I've had some questions come in, so let's address the questions before I lose. Okay, when do you put the tie wrap in? Peggy, are you talking about the elastic? The elastic goes in, here, let me show you on the fabric that I haven't sewn. So this is our wrong side of our cotton fabric, wrong side of our flannel fabric. When you're sewing, you're going to start at the, let's pretend this is the lower edge where we leave our opening. You'll start here and go to the corner. And when it's under the presser foot, I open it up and put my elastic end in. And I'll just show you, I'm just going to pin it.
This is huge.
Okay, Riley.
Seriously, no.
I'm just going to pin it in here so you can see where it goes. So one end, okay, Riley, shush. One end's going to go in here and you can pin it.
Yes.
Okay.
Let me cut this before.
And then underneath, you're going to take the other end of the elastic and put it in like a C shape. And the other end is going to go along the other, the adjacent corner. And then you'll put your lining fabric back. Be careful with those scissors, babe. Oh my God. Okay, hold on. Hold, please. The iron just went crashing down. Okay, hold on.
Hopefully Leia didn't.
Hold on. It's okay. It's all right. Hold on. Oh my gosh.
Nobody touch anything.
Okay. All right.
Drop the iron.
Honey, I need you. Seriously, please stop.
Just let the dog out. She won't get
Okay.
me stupid toy.
Well, can we do it later, please? Oh my gosh. Okay.
This inch.
Thank you for sticking with me, everyone. My iron just went crashing to the floor onto my carpet. Okay, so we're having lots of lessons here with the kids. We are learning about iron safety immediately after this live feed. We're learning about sewing. Please don't do that. We're learning about how to not handle scissors. And we're having little heart attacks. Okay. Where was I? Okay. So this is the other end of the elastic. And we're going to pin it in place.
It's correct.
Okay. All right. So now the ends are pinned in place. You can do that for the other side. If you don't want to insert the elastic when it's under the presser foot, you can certainly pin it first. And
It's correct.
And then you can do your sewing. Okay, so actually that's not what she was talking about. She says for the nose. Okay. All right, so just to review, Nancy Sapin, she created this out of Cutaway Plus Stabilizer. And she made, so along the upper edge, she made an additional sort of like casing for the upper edge. So you can do this after you've sewn it together, but I believe that Nancy's does not have a lining because it's just one layer of Cutaway Plus. So instead of lining it, she created a casing for the upper edge and then sewed, I want to say maybe 3 or 4 inches, just sewed a little pocket for that tie, for the little wire, like sandwich tie, basically. Maybe you could even use a pipe cleaner, little section of pipe cleaner right there. You would want to definitely disclose that that's in there in case the little bit of metal is going to be a problem for people. But that's where she put it. So I hope that that makes it more clear. And she did provide some other photos that I didn't upload into this platform, but I can share those with you on the blog as well.
It's correct.
Okay. All right. I hope you guys are I hope you guys are reading the comments to this live video, because Jason Prater, the president of Sulky, has been involved from the start of this video. And his comments might be more comedy than this kid. I don't know. She's pretty hilarious. So
Oh my god!
I can't even talk. I'm laughing so hard. Okay. All right. Let's see if there's any other questions. Okay, so Riley, you're getting me so off track. We need to focus. You ready? Are you ready to focus? Okay. All right. So if you have run out of elastic, or you don't have elastic on hand, or
There's no shops open that have elastic.
Bingo. If that is your case, I am
or
pretty.
If you don't want to go out to stores to get elastic.
Thank you. Okay, I'm pretty positive that you can use some self fabric ties instead of using the elastic. Now, the ties need to not be looped like the elastic, because they will have no stretch to go over your ears. So you will need 4 ties coming out from the corners. And since we are doing this pretty sides together, you would attach one tie that has a finished end and another tie that has a finished end, so that you can wrap it around your face, tie the top, and tie the bottom. I'm fairly confident that that would be an acceptable mask to donate. Now, I did ask Derek about that, and he thought that perhaps the elastic was more CDC compliant. However, I have been seeing some other tutorials with the fabric ties. I have also seen some tutorials of people using pre-made double fold bias binding from the package. You just knot the end, or you can sew it shut and use that as ties. You can also bind the edges that you have created the tucks in, instead of just top stitching or turning right side out. You can bind the edges with your pre-made double fold bias binding, and then have the ends go long. So this edge would be bound, and you'd have long ties already kind of attached to the mask. So those are some options for if you've run out of elastic and still want to make some masks. Obviously, you can also just make these masks for yourself and your family. You can make them for your neighbors. You know, everyone is in need right now, and it's not only is it a great way to give back, but it is a great way to just find some inner peace, get your sewing on, zen out to the hum of your machine, and, you know, turn off the news for a couple hours and get some sewing done. I, of course, also wanted to mention that Sulky is still shipping orders right now. If you need to get your thread restocked, if you want to grab some stabilizer, if you want to look at our fun kits, we've got kits that are suitable for kids. We've got kits that you will love to make that, you know, maybe you thought you didn't have time to make an entire quilt in the next 3 weeks. Well, now you've got the time. And so now is the time to check out those kits that we have. And maybe Nikki can put a link to some of those in the comments so that you guys can check them out. I'm also going to do a little bit of a post later on, but I'll give you guys a sneak peek. Here at my neighborhood, we have followed suit with what some people in the UK are doing, and that is painting or drawing or creating some kind of rainbow to put in our front windows. And that way, when you go on your walk, when you're walking your dog, when you're getting some fresh air and maintaining your social distance, the rainbows in everyone's front window just provide a little bit of a smile. And so people have been putting chalkboard rainbows on their driveways, and we painted some rainbows yesterday and put them in our windows. And it just made me think that we have a really cute hand embroidery color wheel sampler that comes with all of the rainbow array of sulky 12-weight cottons. And you can make that sampler and hang it on your door like a little kind of wreath of sorts. And then you'll have the rainbow of colors that you can hand sew or teach your kids to sew while they are on break or being homeschooled. I can't think of a better way to teach, math than to make a quilt with your kids and teach them all about angles and how they go together. There's just so many lessons to be learned with sewing. So I hope that you guys really enjoyed seeing the tutorial in action and seeing how easy it is to create these masks. And of course, sulky.com is a great resource for all of your sewing when you're cooped up indoors or, just need a breath of fresh air and a little bit of happiness. So sulky.com. Also, remember info@sulky.com if you want to join in the effort of making masks for local vet hospitals, veterinarians, to help our furry friends and keep those guys in business so that they can do emergency surgeries on our pets and things like that during these tough times. So thank you, everybody, for joining me today. And hang in there. We're here with you, and we'll see you next time.